Welcome to the Burning Hammer Wrestling Podcast.
Yo, yo.
My name is Seth Skinner. This is my buddy Dave.
Howdy.
And today we are sponsored by our friends over at Dubby GG. It's a powder form energy drink. You can go over there right now. You can use our promo code. Clear shots. It's all one word. And you get a discount and you help the show out.
Oh, yeah.
So please do that. It's good stuff. I drink it. I started drinking the other one, the Galaxy Grenade, and it's really good.
It's good.
It's better than the other one I had.
Hell yeah.
So, also go to the website. We have an online store. Get some merch.
Oh yeah.
This thing.
Yeah. We do. We do a blog on there and stuff.
Yeah,
now,
we
all
have a
kinds
blog.
of stuff.
Yep. There's a bunch of different shit you can see on there. We got. This is a banked episode.
Yep.
So we're gonna try to not talk about anything that's
too current,
timely.
Yeah. We might. I mean, you don't know, but it's gonna be looser for sure.
We just filmed episode 10, which is we were talking about Triple H and his trajectory and sort of his career and like how he's like looked at overall in the overall picture. And it's like, man, I just like right before we cut it off, because I wanted to save it for this, because it's like it's not a thing that needs to be, it's not a current event.
True.
But I was like, man, he like the dedication that he had to the bit. Well, number one, he was on Tough Enough. He did Tough Enough, so that alone,
as a host,
that alone, it's like he's in there helping talent.
Yeah,
he showed a passion for that to begin with.
Yeah.
But
and cut one of the greatest promos of all time
and
to them.
Yeah. The fucking nut thing and everything.
Yeah, I love it.
I watch it, the whole thing every time I see it pop
But
up
also just what he has to say about it. Like, why are you here? Oh, is it to Maven? To Maven, he says it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you thought it'd be cool. You're going to make money and get chicks. How about 200 days a year you're on the road, though?
Mm-hmm.
What's your family doing? You don't know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? What are your kids doing? You don't know. And then the greatest line, he says, you either want this or you don't. And if you don't waste our fucking time.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Hey,
yeah, that's right. And he's dead on. Yeah. He's like, if you're here, you know,
for a reality show,
being here without wanting it, you're spitting on the business. You're spitting on everybody that came before you. You're starting off a mile ahead of everybody. You're spitting on guys like Draws and shit. Yeah,
You're on a reality show that didn't exist before. You're cast on this show. You get a chance.
All these dudes had to work so hard and win like 100 lotto wins to get a chance to be in that industry,
or just work thousands of house shows where they get a hot dog and a slap on the back,
or like Austin driving around eating raw potatoes and shit because they're just going, I'm not gonna have money ever,
right?
You know,
and luckily now. People fortunately now you get the chance to do that, but
it's better now.
What he said is just like he's right. It's just like with that, like with stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy has it has paths to it now. You know, you had back then you had guys just traveling in their own like broken down,
just hoping something pops. You know, I feel like Triple H has done so much to benefit the business now more than ever too. Yeah. He's everybody says since Vince is gone and the new structure is in place.
Overwhelming consensus.
And even guys like Punk, who if he comes in and it's shit, he's just gonna say it's shit and fucking walk out again.
Yep.
He doesn't need it.
No, I think you're going to get talent coming back over there too because of that.
Now, because they're going to be talking to people like Cody and Punk and shit and going, is it really better? And they're going to be going, it's the best it's ever been.
Have you watched it? It's like
not just the
look
product,
at numbers,
but behind the scenes. Everybody says that it used to be chaotic garbage that was super high stress, tension, and everybody was sick to their stomach 24/7, walking on eggshells. And now it's so chill and relaxed and fun.
I've heard that it's much easier. So they have an app, an employees app, and you can request just days off, and it's way easier to get that stuff approved now. They I heard also Triple H, they had a the TNA president or somebody was TNA owner or something.
He was flying
out of the country or something.
D'Amore.
Yeah. And
he's not with them anymore.
He was bailing or something.
Unfortunately, he's not with TNA at the time, but at the time he was,
And I guess he was Triple H. They were in conversations about talent relations and who's coming over to do what.
Mm-hmm.
And, he texted him and was like, hey, just wanted to let you know everything's under control. We situated these and these. And like his communication with everybody seems to be a lot better.
And the reason why it's important is because Scott was leaving. He was going to be on a plane and he was going to be unavailable.
Yeah.
And it would have been the opportune time for somebody like Vince to fuck him over and crawfish everything while he's on it. So no one can communicate with him to go, what the fuck?
Right.
You know what I mean? And Triple H reached out to him ahead of time to go, just so you know, everything's good. Enjoy your trip. Don't worry about a thing. This is everything we talked about is going to go how we said it's going to go. It's all signed. It's all taken care of.
I think, and that stuff still does happen. They want to fuck each other over. But like, it's not like
but Triple H so
Monday
clearly isn't
shit.
that guy right now,
Yeah.
It's not how he wants to do business.
TNA isn't there. I mean, we've talked about it before. It's not like they're really competitors.
Who is? Right, nobody is. Nobody.
Yeah.
And Triple H is... Vince
you
always
might see TKO
acted like everybody was the enemy.
You might see
Triple
TKO
H
down
doesn't.
the line. Who knows? They might buy TNA out at
Who
some
knows?
point.
Yeah. I don't know.
And put them all on Peacock or whatever, on WWE Network.
And keep it a fully separate product.
Could be. Yeah, different brand.
Who knows? I don't know. But it's just like...
It's interesting to see like the way
Triple H is making so many changes.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. His relationship with wrestlers... His relationship with other companies, he's very even-keeled and level-headed about it. He looks at it from the perspective of talent as well as business in a way that has never been able to be done before him, really.
I think my main point is...
Maybe Jeff Jarrett in TNA in the beginning, because he was talent, but he wasn't talent at the level of Hunter. No offense to Jarrett. I actually like Jarrett.
Jarrett's great.
Jarrett's good.
And he's still doing shit.
And he's still good, man.
He had a match like a couple weeks ago.
He's still very good. Yeah. Jarrett's a special cat.
Yeah.
He got a lot of bad heat. He got a bad rep from the WCW days because they put the belt on him and they treated him like he was a god and he wasn't selling. And they tried to scapegoat him, and there's no telling me it was all his fault.
He wasn't that bad.
He wasn't even in a position of power. How could it be his fault?
Right.
When WCW had what it was going on behind the scenes, what we know now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just don't see him the same way I used to.
Even like treated like so when he came over to WWF at the time, he was still mid-card guy for a long time.
But he was so good.
Yeah, but he was like at least they treated him somewhat well. They could have fucking shrugged it off and had him just be fucking buried or whatever. But
for sure.
He was there week after fucking week, and I remember a lot of his segments.
Yeah.
It's all burned into my brain.
Now I look back on him a lot differently than I used to during the WCW days. I used to think he was one of the worst in WCW, but I know more now, and I look back on him way differently. Plus, I'm a different person now. I'm older. I have a different view of how, like, what actually matters in the wrestling business.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he started TNA. And people would go, oh, he started his... And I used to think this. Oh, he's just starting his own company to make himself champion? Wrong. He built so many guys. He built Joe and AJ Styles and Abyss and all these guys. And when he was there is when it was its best at the time, And then Hogan... It's rare that as soon as Hogan and Bischoff came in, TNA started to go,
yeah. That's true. It's just rare that when so if you start a company and you're part of it, and you are also a worker, your chances are you're going to get
good luck.
You're going to get a belt.
Yeah, and good luck.
But and that's exactly the thing. It's like Jericho obviously won the AEW title. You had, Cody Rhodes. It's like all these guys.
It's like the Bucks. Damned if they're the champs, damned if they're not.
Yeah.
And
you sure get a lot of heat from it.
Yep. Which is fine. And he was a heel and got a ton of heat from it.
Mm-hmm.
Angle, bro. Angle's best stuff was those early days of TNA.
Was too, yeah.
Legit the prime of his career.
Mm-hmm.
But with Jarrett, the other side of that is just making a new place with any amount of money to pay guys to work at a high level matters. It's one of the reasons AEW is important. Yeah. You know, it's one of the reasons TNA being TNA again and doing the same again. That's why it's been so good.
It's why it's good just to have multiple.
And TNA right now is killing. Yeah. They're doing good, man.
They're all doing pretty good. Wrestling is doing good.
Wrestling has never been better, in my opinion.
And I think it had a lot to do with this whole surge when The Rock came back, and people just were interested.
Leaving again. Cody's ascent, it definitely helped a lot.
It did,
and you could argue it started with AEW getting made. Started to bring a lot of attention to the business.
Sure.
But it really stepped up with Triple H being made head of creative, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I know. I was interested. You're thinking, oh shit! Like I remember the last time
it was just
there was another company that was trying to rival them. Like remember how good that was?
The industry prior.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're going, okay, well, let's check out AEW, and it was great.
Yeah. When it's the early days of AEW were amazing.
It was fantastic.
Yep.
I couldn't stop watching that. But.
And then they hit a lull, and it seems like now, as we record this, they're starting to take the steps to correct that lull. And I hope they do.
It's like we say all the time. There's just so much on. It's hard to take viewers away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You have a lot of wrestling fans, but wrestling fans only have so much time.
Once you lose fans, it's even harder to get them back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Because then in their head they're going, fuck that. It's like if you fuck over a friend on accident, you do something dumb one time. Good luck convincing them to forgive you.
Yeah.
And not see you with weary eyes for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, trust is hard to get back.
Yep. It's one of those things. Like there's 3 major promotions right now, and it's like
yep. And that's not even counting New Japan, which is decently major.
Yeah.
You know, we don't get a lot of it over here. We have
you can get it.
You can get it.
Yeah, if you
there's
get TNA,
New Japan World and stuff.
If you get TNA, you do get it.
Oh, really?
Because it's on Access TV or something.
Okay. Cool.
I'm pretty sure they're they're on the same network.
Okay. Well,
but then they also have TNA Plus and all these.
And they have New Japan World.
But man, it's hard to get people to subscribe to something, man.
It's too much.
It's just because you already got subscriptions. You got to understand people have. I would argue most households now have at least 4 or 5 subscriptions at a time.
Yeah.
I got more than that. But I'm not the average household. That's like
I know. We went through and liquidated a lot of ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got an app that shows, that stuff. And that's a good thing to have if you're going to do all these subscriptions. Because you got to, I have to have Peacock. It's got to happen.
Yeah, same.
I got to have, Netflix. I like Max a lot because they get South Park and stuff like that. But
Amazon Prime, because Amazon Prime doesn't count Prime, because live in America.
And have Amazon
not America,
Prime.
Live on Earth in 2024 and have things, like be able to live comfortably anymore and don't have Prime. Good luck.
I know. Seriously.
Good luck.
It is a monopoly. That's a monopoly.
There's no doubt. And we're all just hook, line, and sinker, and we don't get a choice. And if you choose not to, I don't envy your lifestyle.
Seriously. Anytime I need something, the first place I go is Amazon to see if they have it on there. Because it's just so convenient.
And I fully understand Amazon scummy, and I don't care.
I hate
because I'm only going to be alive for a certain amount of time, and I'm trying to make it so my life is the most comfortable I can have it while I'm alive. And if they're providing that, they get my money.
Mm-hmm. Well, you get a bunch of benefits with it. You get the Prime Video.
You know what?
You get,
me not getting it was going to matter and make them not be scummy, right?
Yeah.
Nope. So I'm going to have it.
Like the one WWE fan that stops watching.
Yeah, and that's a good. Exact.
He's like, I guess I'll just stop watching then, and everybody's going.
Everyone goes,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So one number. They're not even counting one. They're counting the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Exact.
They're counting the literal millions.
And it just is what it is, But I love that there's so many options now for different wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's good for the workers. It's good for the fans. It's good for everybody.
It's a lot to watch. I think it's too much to watch everything every week. but it's not too much to follow everything.
You can try
via social media. I think that works better.
I think that TNA and AEW need to get that social media thing up a little more.
Yeah.
Get it to that level.
They're trying.
They are. They're
trying.
Doing better.
They're doing better. AEW is definitely doing better. TNA is definitely doing better.
They're wary of, they're scared of spoiling things, and they're scared of showing people too much, and that because they want people to buy what they're selling.
But
the problem with AEW too is you got pay-per-views that cost $60 or whatever they are. And I think TNA
whereas
does
with
that
WWE
too.
just has Peacock.
Yeah, and people
that's
aren't
one place they
to,
always win with viewership there.
I'm not ready to buy TNA Plus. It's like
no.
I will watch it if I can.
They've got to understand that
the access needs to be.
It will help their business so much
yes.
to not worry about that. And just make sure that, because there's no reason they can't have the same amount of output on social media as WWE. Mm-hmm. There's no reason they can't.
Isn't. They have all the footage. It's all there. Yep. They own it all.
They could be doing the same level of stuff. Interviews with the guys backstage, having them watch old matches, everything. You could be doing all the exact same stuff and crushing just as hard. And by crushing on social media, you're going to get more people to watch your stuff.
That's the best way to build the fans.
And they've got that completely backwards right now.
Build the fan base. Make people want to see it.
Absolutely.
Then make your fucking streaming service.
Yes.
Then do TNA Plus.
Yeah. Make people want to see it using social media.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like being in a band and going, well, I'll build a following by just hitting the road and playing shows to nobody in bowling alleys and bingo halls.
No.
And getting no money for it and starving to death on the road. But I don't want to do the social media thing. Good luck. Good luck in 2024.
Right.
The reality is now you do only social media and you don't play a show ever again until there's already a demand to play the show. Because nobody cares anymore.
Because
everything's social media.
Everyone is on social media. Not everybody's at your show. There's only so many people there.
It doesn't cost you anything to get on Instagram.
It costs nothing, right?
So it's like,
unless you want to pay for the blue check mark.
I guess, yeah.
Like
but that's Twitter and that. They have them on Instagram and
shit
too. But
you get like a Meta verified. And
who cares?
Facebook and Instagram or
so you can. So I can make a new account and make my name fucking.
So I can look like I'm important.
Somebody random and then pay for a check mark. Yeah. You just make it Jesse the Body Ventura or whatever, then get a check mark because he's not.
Well, the problem I have with that kind of shit is like you don't know who the actual, like it used to be like this person is confirmed this celebrity.
And it happens at WWE all the time. Look at like the stories that happen with like Liv Morgan and stuff, where some guy's like, I married her. We're legally married. Yeah. And they go, nope. You been sending her money? Yeah, I've sent her $150,000. Why do you think she needs your money? You only know who she is because she's one of the most famous women on WWE right now.
Yeah, and why does she keep asking?
They don't pay her? Oh, it's a scammer using her likeness on a dating app, and you're hook, line, and sinker.
It's wild. People fall for that stuff, but
I know, dude.
People they'll just make like fake accounts and be like Liv Morgan, and then and then they'll comment, and there's got to be some people that are like
people
dumb
fall
enough to be like, oh my god, that's.
And
then you go to their profile page
so
and like shit's like spelled wrong and like their website's wrong and shit.
and they they have a team that's doing work to scan and deal with that.
It's a lot of bots.
It's never going to stop.
Yeah, but I don't understand the paying for the check mark. That's crazy.
Me neither, dude. That shit's crazy.
But my main point with Triple H was that he has a crazy dedication to the business. Like it's just insane.
Unrivaled.
Like, the guy like
unrivaled and inarguable now.
Yeah. And he finished a match with a torn quad. Like he straight up pedigreed somebody.
He didn't just finish a match with a torn quad. He took the lion tamer with the torn quad and called it.
Yep.
And Jericho tells the story that after the quad, he told him, I tore my quad. And Jericho goes, okay, like what's the finish? Like while they're wrestling, while they're working it live, he's like, so what's the finish? And he goes, you gotta still lion tamer me. And he's like, okay, we're doing it then.
Dude. It's like
Walls of Jericho, whatever they call it. It's the fucking lion tamer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, Well, yeah.
I saw him in WCW, so like, but it's the same thing.
He always did it different ways too. Like
the Walls of Jericho was more like a traditional Boston Crab. My favorite was the Lion Tamer with the knee on the small of the back standing. That's the coolest Boston Crab variation I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's great. And plus,
here's a great conversation for us to segue into. Coolest submissions ever. Let's go. What are your favorite submissions ever?
I would say that's up there. Number
one. It is for me. Yeah, for sure.
I like
submissions. Is interesting.
Anything that you can. So obviously the sharpshooter.
Yeah.
Like anything where you can see someone's face.
Yep.
Clearly.
I love the sharpshooter and any finishers that are the big three for me that are a crab style guy on his stomach. Can come up on his arms, can scream, facial work, leg submission. The big three ever for me are Lion Tamer version of that for Jericho with the knee on the back standing or whatever. Sharpshooter, / Scorpion Deathlock because they're basically the same.
It's kind of the same, yeah. Well, what's the difference?
Texas Cloverleaf is the other one.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and that's probably my favorite of the three. And I love when Drew does it because he does the variation where he sets it up first, latches it, lifts the guy up, steps over him into it. Yeah. It's so nasty.
It's like a deeper
it's so good, dude. I love the Cloverleaf. Mm-hmm. Dean Malenko, man.
Yeah, he was incredible.
He was unbelievable.
I really like the ankle lock.
Ankle lock is so simple, but it's great.
Yeah, because you can like really tell the trying to get to the ropes story easily.
I've always loved the STF or the STFU for Cena, but it's just a STF, right?
Call it that now.
Yeah,
changed it. Yeah, can't call it the FU anymore either.
No, I know. Whatever. Netflix is coming.
Yeah. That'd be sweet.
And they'll just start calling it the shut the fuck up or whatever. Just say it. But no, all seriousness, I always thought the STF was cool.
Bring back fucking Thugonomics Cena again.
Oh my God. That would be ridiculous.
God damn.
Have him come out, first thing he does, episode 1, comes out as Thugonomics. He says fuck in his promo. Imagine the crowd. Dude, imagine the crowd.
Like, oh, God.
If Cena came out and was like, fuck, man, this is incredible.
And they would just be going like, too hard.
Dude, immediately a fuck. First word you hear on the broadcast.
You almost could get away with it because like the huge thing is like everybody's talking about how well it's like you don't want to come out and be that brash about it.
No, you want to save it.
You almost do just because the fans are like, I can't wait till they're on Netflix and they can say fuck.
And it's right out of the gate. You go, let's get that out of. You come out, Triple H come out and go. Fuck, man, this is weird. People bop and you go. Now that that's out of the way,
Triple H is what's the address that him and Shawn Michaels did where they're saying all the swear words that they can't say on TV.
Dude, I love that. I love that. But finishers. Submissions. Torture Rack is always a classic, especially with that clip of the dad doing it to his son in the crowd is one of the greatest moments in WCW history, and it has nothing to do with the wrestlers.
Yeah.
Just hard cam, guy in the background, torture racking
Torture Rack is wild because it's a standing, it's literally just you're carrying a guy.
Yeah, it's very
so
unique.
Wild.
And it's so sick, and Luger's the perfect guy to do it.
Yeah, there's not a lot of because I mean, you got like bear hugs and stuff like that.
Bear hugs, so lame.
Yeah,
so lame.
Like, what is that?
Different level lame. The Dragon Sleeper was nasty.
Dragon Sleeper
Ultimo Dragon.
That was one of the first ones that came to my mind.
Yeah, Dragon Sleeper was incredible.
But then I was like, well, you don't really see the face very well because it's back.
It just looked so sick, and there was nothing really like it.
Yeah.
Scorpion
Deathlock was what was the Sting used to do a sleeper that was like that, right?
I don't remember.
He used to do a sleeper that was similar.
I only remember Ultimo Dragon's Dragon Sleeper.
I think Sting
and I loved it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool, even just
the Mexican surfboard stretch. Addy used to do it all the time. It was nasty.
That is cool.
He did it to Ray in the Halloween Havoc match, doesn't he? It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Oh man, I don't remember.
I like that though. Cool. The Taz mission's nasty.
The Taz mission,
I always liked that. Or the $1 Million Dream.
Well, a lot of times it's like their ancillary move. Like it's not their finish.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? Like
he has the Tazplex.
Yeah.
But then the Taz mission, he could win with
some guys like Well, like Benoit used to use the headbutt, and he'd have the crossface.
He would do the headbutt, but the crossface would usually be the winner.
Yeah.
It would be like the move that got pulled out when he had to wear somebody down, and the headbutt wasn't going to do it.
Yeah. Well, but you can't talk about him anymore, so.
Yeah, right. I'll talk about him all day, man. I think he's one of the greatest ever.
I know, and then it's like
he killed his family. Wicked beat. Yeah. Not a good thing at all. I don't condone that at all. Definitely don't kill your family.
Yeah. Definitely don't do that. And also yourself.
But his body of work, he's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And I think most wrestlers would tell you that.
I think it's weird that they tried to erase that whole thing, but like I get, like they also came out and they did their whole dedication to him and shit.
Yeah,
the next night.
Yeah, I know.
And then they're like, wow, and then they're like, fuck, we fucked ourselves.
I was thinking about this recently too, and that's a good point. Why is Benoit? You can never mention him again because he killed his family. And he can't go in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not saying what he did is good. And that it's not. I'm not saying it's the same as the other examples either. But Jimmy Snuka's in there and he killed his girlfriend. Yeah. That's pretty much confirmed now.
Didn't Sid kill somebody?
Look at Hulk Hogan's a piece of trash, scum, garbage human.
Yeah, that's true.
Well-known scum, garbage human.
Sid was like in
for 1,000 reasons. And he just always gets to come back, you know?
Well, Sid passed too, didn't he?
Sid had that crazy ass scissor fight.
He just died.
With Arn Anderson, stabbed Arn with like 60 times with a pair of scissors or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's weird because like you hear the story.
That was a fight between the two, and
everybody's got a little bit of a different story.
They do, as far as who started it and whatnot, and we don't have to go anywhere near that. I wasn't there, and the central point is just he stabbed Arn Anderson 60 times, and he was working in WWE like less than a year later. Well, once he fucking healed up and shit.
It's like, there's always.
But my point is
But you look at NFL players, that shit happens all the time.
WWE guys are good guys. Every guy in the Hall of Fame who gets to have his legacy is a good guy.
Yeah,
they've never done anything scummy. Look at Jake the Snake Roberts. Now given being a crackhead who fucked over your family and cheated on your wife 1,000 times and were just a ruthless scum, bad human, isn't butchering your wife and son and then committing suicide. Yeah. I'm not saying it is. I understand that. It just is weird to me that that's the line with all these other guys that we know are trash bag humans, and they get to fucking be treated like gods and be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, but he doesn't.
If you had Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame already, you would have to take him out, right? When you found out,
I'm willing to bet if
he was already
if he was already in somehow, it would be all different. I don't think they would go, we're taking him out.
You don't think they'd pull him out of the Hall of Fame?
No, I think it was just Vince was butthurt and made it a personal vendetta. Because Vince put together that whole tribute thing, and then the next day it was found out that he was at fault, and he was like embarrassed or whatever, and it's Vince, and he hates that. So he took it personally and went, never again.
It's possible, but also the Benoit thing was a huge story.
It was.
It's not like everybody knows
and it was used as ammunition against wrestling for years.
Yeah, and I don't think that like the other things that we're listing were mainstream stories the way that
But the flip side too is now there's been a lot of looking at that as a safety thing, and I think that's why Vince really hated it. Yeah. Not because he gives a fuck about another human. He's the scummiest of them all.
Right.
Of course, he doesn't care about another human. And if he does, he has a weird way of showing it.
Yeah.
But what he really cared about was, fuck, now they know CTE is real and wrestling causes it, and now I have to care about wrestling safety, and it's going to cost me money and make me have to care about wrestling safety, and I don't wanna. I wanna just make everybody work 24/7 for no money.
Yeah.
And that's what it really guaranteed was.
I could see that. I definitely could see that.
Because that is what happened. The Chris Benoit thing forced the CTE discussion and forced no more headshots with chairs and shit, and it forced concussion protocol. You know?
Yeah, because there's only so much you can do with props to make them easier on.
Absolutely.
And it's like you can't make it a styrofoam fucking chair.
It's so stupid, man.
They also didn't do a lot to the ringside mats or anything either. Like they're still thin. And
it's still
mat itself is thin.
It's still dangerous. Look at Biggie.
Yeah,
his career's over. He's lucky as fuck to have the quality of life he has. Yeah. Look at Tyson Kidd. Yeah. Also, very lucky to have the quality of life he has. Or I assume and hope he has. He seems like he's good.
Yeah, he does.
You know?
But that's like it's such a weird, yeah, because like I think with football players, it's the same thing. Like they have a lot of the same off-field issues.
Football sucks because...
But that is the nature of that.
Football
is bashing your head
basically dies if they actually care about concussions.
Yeah.
Like they don't get to really act like they care.
Inherently, it's part of the game.
And have football games without it being flag football that everyone goes, it's dead. We don't care. Football's the toughest in my opinion. You can work around it in wrestling, you know, and it's not that big a factor in baseball or basketball or whatever. Football is literally get concussions.
If you
chase concussions only, just be getting concussions all the time.
Yeah, but it's like if you took hard baseballs out of baseball, it's like you're ruining the game there too.
That's my point.
It's like
how do you have football?
You can't just deal with danger
that works how people want football to work and eliminate or even just be safer.
The reality, this is the thing for me, like always when it comes to this, it's like the players know.
Yeah.
They know
when they're choosing to do it.
There's a risk.
Yeah.
They understand that. They are playing football.
As long as they're choosing it, though, you know?
Yeah, but you don't get to the NFL and not
the problem
is like, you know what I mean?
It's a bigger discussion than that, though, because you have to weigh the pros and cons. These guys, a lot of times, by the time they start playing football, they're a little kid. They're already taking concussions as children.
Yeah, that's fair.
By the time they get to the NFL, they're already dealing with pre-symptoms of CTE and shit. They've got a 5-year career. They're generally, unfortunately, it seems to be a valid statistic. Most professional athletes in NFL and in like basketball and shit go, I'm going to get a $5 to $10 million contract for 3 years. Then I'm going to be forced to retire in 3 to 5. And I'm going to blow all my money wicked fast and be stupid with it. And in 5 years, I'm going to be working in a grocery store.
Well, yeah. And it all depends on... Sometimes it's just you're not good enough and you get caught, and then now you're just fucking... Now you have a bunch of money, but it's only going to go down.
But instead of taking their first $5 million and investing the fuck out of it so that they can actually be set for life, with they're not going to live like they're millionaires, but they're at least going to be able to live like they make 6 figures and are comfortable the rest of their lives if they invested it.
But they don't know how to.
But they go. But I need... Everybody in my extended family needs a blacked out Lexus, though.
Well, part of it too is their entourage. Yeah, it's like they start asking for things.
And once they have millions of dollars, they're always surrounded by yes men who are just, you know, want in on the money and shit without having to do the work. That's a whole different, bigger conversation. But
my main point is
of the CTE thing.
They do understand the risk in a way, and like it's like you can quit football if you do. Like look at Andrew Luck. He was the quarterback for the Colts for a long time, or not even a long time.
Well, look at Pat
he got drafted. He only played a few years, and then he said, "I can't do this." Like,
it's gonna kill me.
Yeah,
it's gonna ruin my quality
and he was
of life.
a quarterback. He's not a running back. No, he's not a fucking... He was a
quarterback.
Free safety or something.
It's why I have a lot of respect for Pat. Because he was an NFL... He's a Super Bowl winning kicker.
He's a punter.
He was just a punter. So he wasn't super worried about tackles.
Right.
But even he was like, as soon as I can make a fortune and I can invest it and be smart with it, I'm fucking out of here.
You have no reason to risk it at that
point. He won the Super Bowl and went, I'm out.
But he also didn't even need to. He makes that money on just a show.
Now he does. Now he does. Yeah.
You know,
he did the smartest thing he could do and went, I'm getting off that field as soon as I'm able to.
Mm-hmm. And he has the personality for it. So he
does. Yeah. Not everybody's going to have that option.
Right.
That's true. Not everybody has the talk.
No.
You know?
No, McAfee is a one-of-a-kind guy.
I love Pat. I think that him and Michael Cole is the strongest commentary duo in wrestling since Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. I genuinely feel that now.
Yeah, you could make that
their dynamic is so good. I love them together. I love what they're doing, and I hope that they get to do that for a long time.
Yep. They will. I mean, it's like Pat likes to do college football commentary, so
he has that commitment, so he takes off to do it for a while. Joe Tessitore coming in is awesome. Mm-hmm. At this stage of this recording, Tessitore has signed. They announced it at SummerSlam. We haven't seen him yet. I'm excited for that. He's really good.
Yeah.
And he's a play-by-play guy, and that's good. They need that.
It gives a different vibe to Raw.
They've been floundering for that. I think Corey's been doing play-by-play with Wade.
Yeah,
right?
Kind of subbing in, yeah. Well, on SmackDown, right?
On SmackDown, yeah, Corey and Wade, right? Mm-hmm. And Corey's been trying to do play-by-play, and he can, but it's way better to just have
someone who's
Tessitore, somebody who is a true play-by-play guy, working with a character who's an ex-wrestler. As a color.
And Wade is kind of going to be on. It's going to be very.
That's going to be cool to see.
But it makes sense to move.
But it's perfect now, though. That is so balanced. Yeah. To bring in a guy who's like a Michael Cole, to be a professional, clean-cut, not necessarily overly serious, but a well-respected, central voice.
You just want to be a call-it-down-the-middle guy.
Who's the call-it-down-the-middle pro, who's then got a color commentator that's a former wrestler who knows the moves and can contribute in a massive way and bounce off each other.
My favorite's the heel counterpart.
The heel.
I always want that heel counterpart.
And that's cool. I don't know that you always have to have that.
You don't, but I like it.
But that's what made Jim and the King so good.
Yeah.
Jim was your call it down the middle, and then you had serious play-by-play, and Jerry was this legendary former wrestler,
just scumbag character
who was a scum. Yeah, he was great. Mm-hmm. And they're dynamic. They could bounce off each other.
They wrote the Bible iconic on voices
that.
Too for what they were doing.
Yeah,
it was just burned into your memory with that, because they did it for so long too.
Yeah,
as a duo.
Yep.
So like that was a big part of it.
It wasn't actually as long as you think, though, when you look back.
It was
because they got split up and put with different people a ton.
Plus you had
had Heyman coming in. You had McMahon. Yeah. You had Cole eventually.
Ventura was in there.
Well, that was really early.
Yeah, but it was like coming into that.
Ventura and McMahon was a classic duo.
That was too.
Yeah.
That one gets overlooked.
McMahon acted as your center play-by-play, which is a good spot to have the boss be. Mm-hmm. And then Ventura was his color guy.
Yep.
Or Ventura with Gorilla Monsoon.
That's
when
good
Gorilla was on play-by-play. Or Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yep. Yeah, Heenan is really good.
Heenan's one of the greatest ever, man.
Yeah. Schiavone to me is always the WWE.
Schiavone's the most underrated play-by-play guy of all time, I think.
Yeah. I would say.
He was so pivotal to the presentation of WCW for me. He's so good, dude.
He was the voice of WCW.
He really was, yeah. The commentary trio. That is my favorite trio of all time. It's one of the rare trio calls, booths I've ever seen, because usually trios are too many guys and it gets too crowded.
Yeah.
But Schiavone play-by-play with Bobby the Brain Heenan on color, and I just had his name. He was so good too.
Bischoff would go on there.
Bischoff sometimes, and Bischoff was decent.
Yeah.
At commentary, but it was, who was the third guy that was like he knew a lot about Japanese and Mexican wrestling and stuff.
This was WCW.
WCW in the Holy Grail days. It was Tony Schiavone, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and his name is right on the tip of my tongue too. And if I get it and I say it, you're gonna go, oh yeah.
Was he a worker? Was he a wrestler?
No, he was just a very knowledgeable guy who knew like everything about Mexican and Japanese wrestling for the time.
How do you even find this? Commentators.
This'll get it to us for sure. Mike Tenay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The Schiavone. Bobby the Brain Heenan, Mike Tenay trio was off the charts.
Forgot about that.
Tenay was in TNA, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was so good, man. Mm-hmm. I love Mike Tenay. Yeah, Shivani, Tenay, and Heenan was off the charts. That's my favorite trio ever.
Oh, Booker T's always not bad on commentary.
He's major on NXT now. Yeah, he's good. He's a color guy. He's a great color guy.
Well, he's got a good show too on his on YouTube there.
He does. Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, he that dude knows what he's talking about, man. He's a veteran. He's been around for a long time.
He's incredible. Hall of Famer, world champion in multiple companies. Yeah, incredible.
Tag teams,
love
singles.
Booker. Harlem Heat is amazing too. They were such a good tag team, man.
Yeah, they were. Dude, that was like one of the more energetic teams that was around at the time.
They are one of the first tag teams in WCW that I feel like me and my brother, when we were little kids, were like, they are so nasty. Mm-hmm. We love those guys. Plus the theme song is like amazing. It's so good.
And like Spinaroonie, you know?
Yeah, yep.
That's crazy.
Booker's one of the few guys I ever saw in WCW really get a chance to be a world champion guy coming from the bottom. Because they relied so heavily on like Hogan and Sting and Goldberg. You know, DDP was a world champ though.
Yeah. Well, I like DDP a lot. I think
me too. He's one of my favorite guys from all of WCW.
Yeah, I felt like he was on song like afterwards.
Who's your favorite WCW guys, do you think? I mean, Sting and Crow Sting is he's 9,999 out of 10. He blows everybody out of the water by a mile for me.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite ever. Like if I had to pick a top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time from my childhood ever.
Yeah.
Crow, Sting from 96, 97, like the run is easy top 10 for me.
That's so iconic though.
Yep.
I really liked Ultimo Dragon a lot.
Loved Ultimo Dragon and Rey Mysterio.
Because he was around then.
That whole squad that was like Ultimo Dragon, Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Chavo Guerrero, Juventud Guerrera. That whole cruiserweight deal was off the charts. Yeah. Loved all of that. La Parka. Loved La Parka. He's not one of my favorites. All I loved about him as a kid was the fucking chair dance he would do. Yep. And then the wiggle.
Yeah.
Yep. If they danced when I was a kid, we loved them.
Sold, yeah.
Alex Wright, Disco Inferno, loved them just because they did any dance.
Disco Inferno's great.
Tokyo Magnum would do this weird shit.
I really
loved
liked
that.
Scott Steiner and Rick Steiner.
Oh, Scott Steiner is Big Poppa Pump.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it because he was so scummy. Who's ever been scummier?
Dude, yeah. Just like you
Big Poppa Pump, Scott Steiner.
Just the bicep kiss thing.
But just the promos.
You just
the shit he would say.
That is godly. I can't even it's so
being
good.
Like,
the sacrifice promo is just so good.
The one with Mean Gene where he's just where he's saying like you don't have to wait for the sun to be on like a 47-degree axis for the equinox or whatever to see the Big Dipper.
He tries to go way too deep.
My freaks the horizontal, and then he says he's like they understand size, they appreciate size. And they know they don't have to wait for the Big Dipper.
Yeah.
Because satisfaction's coming when I go behind and do the bump and grind. It's only a matter of time because they call me the Big Bad Booty Daddy. That promo. And he's screaming it. He's roided out, yelling. Yeah. That is like that energy and that type of just scum shot shit he was saying.
Yeah, it was so good.
I've never seen anybody else like that ever before or since. I've never seen anybody else like that.
No. I don't think you're ever gonna get something like that.
No way. Maybe Netflix era. Could you imagine if Braun did a Big Poppa Pump style gimmick?
He had like just his mind worked a different way.
You think?
So it was like you can't really get that. It's very specific.
The times he would come out and talk about fucking like DDP's wife wanting to fuck him and shit. Yeah. And then he would like I remember one time it's so simple and subtle, but coming from him it just hit different. He came out there in Sacramento and he opened his promo by just being like, "What's up, Sacramento scumbags?" Or whatever. Like,
I want to hear his
delivery and the shit he would say. He was such a scumbag.
I would like to hear like his thought process and like how he thought of these promos, or if he just tried to do it on the top of his head.
Yep. I don't know. I know they were very nervous about putting a mic in front of him for years after those days.
How could you not be?
Yeah, because you just were like, he's gonna say fuck or say something about fucking screwing somebody's wife or some shit.
Yeah.
Or, dude, but then again, some of the times, some of the promos that Flair cut were just as ridiculous.
Well, yeah, Flair was
like in TNA, the one with him and fucking what's his face, Jay Lethal, the Ric Flair off when he's like, I can kiss any girl in this audience, even the fat ones like that one right there. Like, what? That's so offensive.
You can't do that.
But everybody's just like, it's Flair.
Yeah, they didn't care. But Flair was like, they understood that the character is basically just a cocaine fueled fucking.
Flair might have my single favorite promo ever in WCW, straight up, which is the one where Bischoff screws him to beat him for like control of WCW or whatever, and he comes out and he starts off in a suit and he's saying he was going home or whatever, and then he says like the pilot's like, where do you want to go? And he's like, I want to go to wherever they were, Charlottesville or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it devolves so quick into him tearing up hundreds, taking off his suit. He takes his alligator Gucci shoe off and he football spiral downward, spikes it down at some poor guy's head in the crowd. Just whip down at some guy's face. No scenario that guy didn't get hurt. No scenario. Just crowd kills some guy, some poor dude with a shoe.
His hair's going
all
over the place.
Gets down to his underwear.
Yeah.
And he says two of the best lines ever. He says, this is how I roll, you jackass. Custom made from head to toe. Always have been, always will be. And it's so good. And then he says, I've lived the life of a king because the people have allowed me to. Woo. Obviously he woos or whatever. But then at the end, he handcuffs himself to the ring, to the rope, and he says, he's like, Bischoff, I'm begging you, be a man. Come to the ring, and then he's like, and if you go to commercial break,
I do remember
I'll be naked by the time you come back or whatever.
That's godly.
Yeah. That promo is my favorite single promo segment in all of WCW. It's the best. Flair in WCW was one of the best things about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such a loaded thing to say. Like, he was the man forever. He was the man all through the 80s.
Yeah, but he
made Sting, made him when he was Stinger.
Yeah.
And then in the 90s, everybody just thought he's too old for this shit. And it's like, dude, he was on fire. He was so good in WCW.
Yep. No, he was good all like through his entire run. There wasn't really a spot.
And in WWE, with Evolution and shit, he was so good.
It's like with some guys, like you look at Hogan or whatever, and you're like, okay, there were some down years because like he kind of like went like right before he turned heel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was kind of on a downswing.
He was starting to flounder. He was getting booed out of the arenas and stuff.
Like, okay,
out of them, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like with Flair, he just always was just on that same level wavelength, you know.
He was always that. He was always that until one day he wasn't.
Yeah.
He like, it's tough to say too.
Which is the way to do it. That's the way to go.
It's tough to say because the retirement match with Shawn was so special. And it was such a perfect way to end it. But he couldn't let it go. But the flip side is he had some good moments in TNA, like the Jay Lethal stuff. But is that really enough to make it worth throwing out the retirement match?
No, because that match is just too good. And I think here's the thing.
I think if you asked him now, he'll say, I'll die in the ring. But he'd probably also go, I should have retired with Shawn.
I think it's one of those things where you just like, even with the Undertaker, it's like
because he was still so good in the match.
You know you're good still, and you've done it for so long. That's the way you live. Yeah. That's your whole life.
You want to go out with something that has the integrity that you want. Because look at the last match Flair
How could you
had.
argue with
Why?
Shawn Michaels, though?
Yeah, I know, man.
I mean, it's not. You can't really ask for more than that.
No.
And when you do, now you're just being selfish about it because You can't shoot that high.
It's why I want Shawn to do one more. If he's in the condition to do it, I'd love to have him do one more to have a legacy match, one off, just to go, I am actually really retiring now. Yeah. I know I had the match with Taker. I've already been back once since that, and it was a disaster. I can't go out that way. I'm going to do one more, and I'm only doing it because the fans want it. AJ Styles, we have to do this once.
Incredible.
You know what I mean?
Sometimes what happens is I think they want, in their head, the match is perfect.
But right? I don't know if Shawn can even do it anymore.
It's like, that's what I mean. Like, now you're at a later point in your career. It's like, can you perform to that level and make it better?
Shawn should have came back to do the Styles match like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. 10 years ago, it would have been peak.
Yeah.
But now he's like 60. It's just too late.
I think they can work at that level, but they just can't.
But it's not worth it. It's not worth the risk.
Disappoint them. It just is going to disappoint.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk, and that's why they don't do it. And Shawn, back when they were doing that Table for 3 show, which I think they still do sometimes, but back when they were doing that show heavily, they had Shawn and who was it? Nash? Who was on there with him?
Show.
It was Shawn, somebody else, and AJ Styles. And they talked about how when AJ first came in, they actually were talking to Shawn about doing the dream match with him, and they were like close. And then something happened, and they were like, we shouldn't do this, and we can't do this. But they had talked to him, and he was like, man, I don't know. But he was like, man, if there's anybody ever I wish I could have had one with, his number one guy is AJ.
The problem is, the pressure isn't only on you; it's on AJ.
Yeah,
and AJ is sitting there
going, "I would have done anything for that match."
Yeah, of course he would. Yeah,
that match to me, AJ versus Michaels, with no story build-up, had the potential to be the greatest match of all time.
You don't need to. Yeah, you just have their legacy already.
That's the story. Is who's the best of all time?
Shawn Michaels' story itself is your storyline. That's it.
Yep. Yeah. He's considered pretty universally to be the greatest of all time in the ring. Mm-hmm. There's arguments. Some people argue Daniel Bryan. Some people argue Flair. It is Michaels.
Yeah, I just don't see that.
It just is.
Yeah, I can't even.
The most valid argument I've ever heard for anybody else in Michaels' class is Styles. He's the guy. He's the only other guy I've ever heard all the guys that wrestled Michaels to go, I've only ever been in with one that compares.
Styles is a different generation. Like I would argue,
says it. Nash says it.
Yeah, I would think Styles is better than. I would think so. I would put him up there. I would put him up very high. I would say top 3.
Yeah, me too.
Ever in
the ring. Yep, same.
Yeah, Shawn is hard to compete with.
To me, Shawn is number
one. Just because of his storytelling in the ring.
To me, Shawn is number 1 ever in the ring. I've still never seen anybody else that is that good. Not just everything ever is perfect, but the storytelling as well. The in-ring storytelling, the timing, the pacing, the control over the audience, the moveset, the variance of moveset, the ability to go, we're doing a brand new thing we've never practiced on the fly in a big match moment.
Yeah.
Like
variance of moveset is a good point because he can do it all.
Because he has the chin music and he has the elbow drop and he has his signatures.
Mm-hmm. But
other than those, he can just do anything.
He can work
the best anybody's ever done it.
Yeah.
Any style, work with anybody, any size, ever.
Yeah, that's why I thought Jericho was so good.
Jericho
could do all of it. And, as he got older, obviously, he did less high flying. But, Jericho in the ring was up there for me. Like, that was...
Eddie Guerrero, yeah. Way up there.
Mm-hmm.
Rey Mysterio, underrated.
Mysterio,
way up there.
And it's weird because Mysterio, you point Mysterio out, and it's like... every time he gets brought up, it's like everybody knows him, everybody knows how good he is, but like no one seems to really look at how good he's been and how consistent
he's one of the greatest of all time.
It's been all the time. He knows, like, his ring awareness is insane.
If I had to pick a top 10 favorite ever, I think Rey Mysterio would have to be.
You have to just, and on principle, you have to do it. You know, and it's like he's been less relevant in the later years.
I would say if I have to pick a top 3 favorite WCW guys ever,
he's in
the top 3. It's him, Crow, Sting, and then
it's Sting number 1 for me.
It's Sting number 1, Rey Mysterio number 2, and then that third slot, I don't know, man. It's so hard to pick.
DDP, so I'm just gonna say DDP.
It's like DDP or Eddie Guerrero for me. I would say DDP, and then Eddie in WCW is up there, but Eddie in WWE is when he enters my top 10 ever. Yeah. It's like, for me, it's like Crow, Sting, Taker, Shawn Michaels, Eddie, Ray. Fuck, dude. Probably Styles.
What's a match you would have booked differently? Like that you have seen that you would have booked?
We didn't do our match shit.
We didn't.
We definitely do it now, though. We got to do it now.
Well, the problem is if we do it now, we don't know when this comes out.
It won't matter because we'll have started doing it by then, so it won't matter.
Yeah, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, but either way.
So retroactively, what we're doing.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time you see this, other episodes come out and we'll have started this.
Yeah.
We were supposed to start it today with the first episode we filmed today. Either way.
It's just wicked.
What we're going to do is we're going to start picking a match that each person has to watch.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's one you haven't seen before.
Mm-hmm.
But
even if it's not, I want to be able to watch it again. You know?
Yeah, even if it is.
Just to look at it closer.
Even if it is, yeah.
With a fresh eye type of thing.
Absolutely.
And then that way we can even come in and you know, just talk about it.
And I'm going to try to pull some trash question mark matches out of my ass just to make you geek. Like, I have one in mind. I'm not going to give you right now because I could never tell you who the other guy is. But I have a match that's one of the worst matches I've ever seen. And it's a Conan match from before he was like K-Dog, from early WCW days of Conan.
Okay.
That is unbelievable bad, but I have to look up the match and find it first. So that's going to be a future one. But yeah, there's going to be a Conan match called out at some point that has to be seen to be believed. It's so bad. I think
all the ones I have are like...
And I love Conan, but holy shit, that one match is so bad.
I would say the majority... I'd say like a lot of them are like kind of hidden gems. Not hidden, but like they're just like... They're banger matches. And it's like, I think some of them are real obvious, but it's like, you know, it's like they're probably, they're worth watching again type of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have a fucking long list.
I need to put mine together. I have some off the top of my head.
Not a real long list.
I know what the first one I'm going to tell you to watch is.
Look at this one.
Yeah, dude, I love it. I love it.
And it's like, you know, because like, I don't know, they're ones that I remember watching specifically that were like, they were either good matches or I liked them for a story reason or whatever. Or I just like the two that
it's going to be like our book club, but match by match.
Yeah, basically.
I love it.
Yeah, that's but yeah, what's a match that you think you would have changed the result of? Like
a match I would change the result of.
Yeah, like a booking decision that you didn't like.
Ooh.
Because for me, I thought it was Taker and Bray Wyatt. That would have been WrestleMania 21.
Oh, I mean, easy. Sting, Hogan, Starrcade 97. I would have had it not be a shit show just told Hogan, you are putting him over clean or you're fucking fired.
Yeah, that's the hard part is that it's like a talent relation.
Sue us. You're putting him over clean with no schmaz or you're fucking fired and disgraced.
Well, you could argue you do the same thing with the Montreal Screwjob and just say, hey, like, you're just relinquishing the title.
You are putting him over.
Sorry.
End of discussion.
Or there's no match and he's
quit.
the champ
or
now.
Fucking quit. Yeah. They should have done the same thing. Those are the two obvious ones to me.
They could have done that. Obvious. They could have done that in general. Just, I mean, I don't know.
Just, why is this guy even get to have an opinion on it? Do business or fucking leave.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I just thought they missed an opportunity with the Wyatt thing, which, you know, like you said before.
Yeah, Wyatt Taker is a good one for sure. Very good.
You know, they built him up and
that's a good example.
Felt like it was supposed to be the right thing to do.
Wyatt Taker would have been that is the guy that should have ended the streak.
They kind of killed it too with like, I hated that it was an open air stadium and the match was like during the evening.
That's the worst. So should have went on way later.
Guys,
they should have went. They should have done whatever they had to do on the fly to the schedule to force it to happen when the lights are dark, and then had Bray be the first person to end the streak.
You can't have totally agree darkness related characters.
Yeah, that's weird.
You have it be fucking like 5 p.m. or
could not agree more with that. That was all a disaster.
Yeah, it felt like it was. It felt like it was just thrown in for the Undertaker to have another match.
Yeah. Okay. What's your first match you want me to watch?
All right. First match. Oh yeah. This is my favorite. Like, I fucking love this period of time too. 2000. So Triple H versus Cactus Jack, Royal Rumble 2000.
I love it. I can't wait. Can't wait.
So fucking good, dude.
Cannot wait.
This might be my favorite match ever.
The build up to that with Foley coming out.
Yeah.
And taking the shirt off and go, I think you know him well, or not, dude.
Yeah. And you know this is going to be incredible because it's like you got.
Or wait, no,
it's fucking Cactus Jack.
Was Rumble 2000 the one where he comes back, or is that the first one where they do the video segment?
You were right. It's the one where he like reveals it, and because
where he rips the shirt, and he's got the cactus. Yep. Oh, dude,
because Triple H,
he sells that.
This is
so
prime Triple H to me. This is why he's my favorite of all time. This match right here.
Okay. I can't wait to watch it. To make sure you message me that. I'll have to come back to you with a date for mine.
Okay.
But it's DDP versus Macho Man. It's the first time DDP, it was the first match on Nitro, it like made DDP and set him off on his main event run.
Okay.
It's so good, dude. You got to watch it. DDP Macho Man on Nitro. Yeah, I believe it's Nitro. But DDP always says that night Macho put him over, and it started his run. It started his real main event run, and he like completely credits that feud with Macho Man that started on that with his main event run. And that match is awesome.
That started the feud?
I think I can't remember because it's just been so long, but that's the match, and I'll send you the actual like exact episode and stuff.
Because I'll
find it.
Like if we can get them, if we can watch the vignettes before, that'd be great too.
Yeah,
then it gives you the fucking.
Well, you should. Yeah, and I'm sure you can go on YouTube and go like Macho Man versus DDP feud story.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything that's on this list is on Peacock, so you can see.
Yep. And if it's something that's not, we'll connect and figure out.
I want to do some like
because I want to do some. Got it. I want you to send me some of that. I want to do some TNA stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Anything I haven't seen. You know.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do some AJ Styles and Angle, Samoa Joe era TNA stuff.
Yeah.
But that's my first one for you is DDP Macho Man.
So we'll do like when we come in for episode 11, which it'll be.
Yep.
We'll just announce what the matches are, why we'll just break it down there.
Yep. Yeah, no sweat.
That's the way to do it. All right, what are we at here? An hour? Holy shit. That went by
we're
fast.
Good, man. We're good.
All right.
Good stuff.
I don't even know what the hell we talked about. It felt like we talked about WCW a lot.
Yeah. We talked about a lot of random stuff, but that's what these are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Just fun fan service talk.
Yeah.
And anybody in the comments, as always, with every episode, but especially with these ones, when we pull the trigger on using these, we would love to hear your guys' thoughts in our conversations. Like, what are your favorite guys?
Yeah.
Who are your favorite, or what matches would you like to see us watch and stuff? Send it. If you've got some obscure random match from all Japan in the 90s, tell us.
Yeah. You know? Throw everything at us. Like
absolutely.
How dumb we look. And
I don't give a fuck.
How much of a stupid idiot we are or whatever. Yep. That was my favorite Jericho era, was the stupid idiot. Yeah.
I like the list.
The list is up there, yeah.
Yeah. But the stupid idiot is great.
I fucking love that dude. Stupid idiot shit.
He was great.
How do you get that over?
He was so good in the beginning of AEW too. But that's a conversation for another episode.
You just say stupid
or we'll go forever.
It's your gimmick now.
I love it.
Oh my god. All right. Go to w.gg.
Yep.
You get your some energy.
Yep, absolutely.
You use our promo code. It's right there on your screen. You get 10% off, and you support the show. Also, check out our website. Go to the little merch tab there. Buy some of that. You can read our blog, all that stuff, all the cool stuff. All right. That'll be it. We'll see you in 2 weeks, everybody.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Peace.